Welcome back to Hot D, the Westeros Kickback here on Recap Kickback. I'm Chappell and back with you for one last time to talk about season 2 of House of the Dragon. And of course, I cannot talk about this momentous occasion without the Maester of Whispers, the person who keeps this whole podcast on the tracks with all of her knowledge about the books. Mari, it happened. We're here.
It happened. We're here. It's over. This is the last Westeros Kickback. Sad to see it go. Hate to watch it leave. Yeah, this was an ending.
Okay. All right. Oh, I mean, listen. It's the end for season 2, but as we know, the show is already coming. It's coming back for season 3, and it better because I think this left a lot of people wanting a bit more, but we will talk about that in just a moment. I do want to thank everybody for listening to Recap Kickback and for following our House of the Dragon coverage this entire season. It has been a blast. It's a departure for our normal kind of content here. We do like to talk about TV and movies. We like to center a lot of Black content, but there was some Team Black, some Team Green, and a lot of good content here to talk about on House of the Dragon this season. So we had to make time. Brilliant idea from Mari. Now we get to discuss what's coming next. But first, thank you all again for subscribing, for listening, and for sending your feedback. Because Mari, before we get into this, we do have feedback. So the way this is going to work, as usual, is that we'll talk about our feedback. We'll get into the recap of the episode. And then finally, we'll end with a little bit of the book club to see exactly what the book looks like in comparison to this episode of TV. You good with that?
Yep, sounds good to me. Can't wait.
All right, and this is a kind of a spoilery question, and so actually I might leave this feedback to the end. But we did get an email from Tia, big listener. Yeah, shout out to Tia, big listener of Recap Kickback, big supporter. So we'll talk about Tia's question a little bit later before we get into the book club, or once we get into the book club. But aside from that, Mari, tell us. What else have you been working on these days? Before we go and dive into this, what has been going on in your neck of the woods? Because we got a lot to talk about.
Yeah, so of course, every week, me and Sarah Carradine break down true crime over on the Crime Scene podcast. That's Crime SEEN podcast. It's a true crime review podcast where we watch like true crime documentaries, movies, docuseries, and like we break it down and we tell you if you should watch them or not. We give ratings and everything. It's so fun. Chappell is one of our top guests.
Yeah,
like tied for like second, so tied for most appearances. So we have a lot of fun over there. If you are a true crime head, definitely come over there to us, because me and Sarah have amazing guests, wonderful guests. And then it's Big Brother season. We're in the thick of Big Brother. So you can follow me on Twitter at Mari Talks Too Much. That's 2 like the number 2, where I'm like talking lots of Big Brother on Twitter. And then for RHAP, I'm doing like recaps and roundtables, Big Brother recaps and roundtables over there. So that's been fun. And I mean, it's only 2 weeks down, like a million to go, it feels like. So definitely catch me in and out over there talking Big Brother.
Yeah, and you can catch me here on Recap Kickback. We got a lot of content, but you can also catch me on Nothing But Netflix podcast I host with Rob Sestonino, the Bravo wrap-up podcast where we talk about Below Deck, me and Sasha Joseph. And then, of course, the more content we have here on Recap Kickback, the better. So we're talking about the Olympics. We're talking about Bel Air coming soon. So if you're a big fan of Bel Air, the show on Peacock, come join us. We'll be talking about season 3, me and my co-host Puya. And then, of course, me and Mari have more content coming your way soon. So much more to look forward to from us, but y'all came here to talk about dragons, and I think we have to talk about dragons. Mari, overall, what did you think about this as a finale? What is your knee-jerk reaction? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Was it mid? Tell me your things.
My knee-jerk reaction as a finale, I'm not like, I was honestly fighting to stay awake at some points, which is sad to say. I don't know if it's because I have a sick newborn right now. That could be, but like I really was like, oh snap, okay, wait, concentrate. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it was so funny because we've been talking about, if you've been sticking around to the end of the book club, we've been trying to speculate how and where the season was going to end. And um it was after last week's episode that we got the red sewing last week that I was just like, I'm just gonna let go and let God, because none of this makes sense to me. And so I'm actually not surprised in a sense, but I'm still mad. I think I even said it might have been last week. I said, I think this might end on a cliffhanger. And
Mhm.
lo and fucking behold, like, I don't even know if you can call it a cliffhanger. That was like a certified to be continued, which I think is even worse. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not even a cliffhanger. Like, they gave us half. Like,
Yeah.
anyway. So yeah, like I wasn't surprised. I guess I wasn't surprised, but I don't think this is gonna go over well, especially when we have to wait 2 years. This is
Whew.
only 8 episodes. Like,
Yeah.
give us 2 more episodes and give us a well-rounded finale that excites people. Like, instead of exciting your fan base, you just, like, made us, like, feel like you gave us homework. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
It's like, oh, now I gotta come back if I wanna see all the good stuff. Not, oh my God, that was a fantastic end. I can't wait to see the next chapter of the war, because they could have done that. Especially
Yeah.
with 2 extra episodes. Oh, baby, they could have done that. So, and honestly, they could have fit it in with these 8. We talked about it. Speaking of which, sorry, I should have said this in the plugs too. This week the book club will be meeting again. If you caught us last time for our mid-season book club review, me, Taryn, and Grace will be back this week over on the We Know Scripted TV feed and YouTube, breaking down the whole season of House of the Dragons and comparing it to the book. All three of us have read the books, so we're going to talk about it. Same format, talk about the show first, and then do a more spoilery book related breakdown. So I'm pretty sure we're going to do a lot of ranting over there. But
Mhm.
I say all that to say, like, knowing what's coming, knowing that they have like 4 seasons to play around with, I didn't like this decision.
Mm.
And there were, but there were some scenes that I was like, oh, this is really good. And there were some scenes that I was like, wow, this is very unnecessary. And it's so funny. I should have known what was going to happen, because I was watching the beginning, I watched the credits, I was watching all this stuff, and it said directed by Geeta Patel. And I was like, Geeta directs this one. And like, if for those who don't know, House of the Dragons this year had 4 different directors, and each director directed like 2 episodes.
Mhm.
And if you watch the House That Dragon Built, they talk about their production schedule is really cool. They were like shooting stuff like at the same time on different locations, blah 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 blah. But each director kind of has their zhuzh, and Geeta
Mhm.
Patel is not the battle girly. So when I saw her name at the beginning of the episode, I was like, Geeta, okay. I thought it to myself, because I talked about it last week. I said and me and War Dog talked about it. There are 3 battles that they could have chosen to end the season on. And they said no.
Mhm.
So like I was for sure thinking like we were gonna get some of that. So yeah, I say all this to say, like, I ended up not being surprised, but I was still pissed. I guess. How about you?
Yeah, so immediately after, it took a lot of energy not to type mid and just put it on Twitter. Uh because I know I watched the episodes faster than other people. So I was like,
Yeah.
okay, I'll wait and see what everybody else's reaction to it was. And I think it's kind of echoed, but I think to me, it's only mid as a finale. I love the
Yeah,
episode in a vacuum. You know, like
I agree.
this is
I can
my
agree with
type of
that.
TV. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
The acting was on point. The characters were charactering. There were some funny
Yeah.
parts. It was very true to House of the Dragon, to Game of Thrones. It felt like that. But at the
Mhm.
same time, it's like, for a finale that we know is going to lead us to a 2-year wait for the next season, this don't count. This is not good enough. You know, in Game of Thrones, we always saw that like the penultimate episode was going to be our big moment. And so when we got there, we accepted that the next episode wasn't going to be shit. You know what I'm saying? We're like, all right, whatever. You know what I'm saying? We got our Battle of the Bastards. We already got our, you know, our Ned Stark moment. We already got these moments in the previous episode. So we ain't really tripping on the rest of it. You know what I'm saying? But here, it's been a minute since we got a good battle. You know what I'm saying? It's been a few episodes since the Dance of Dragons. It's been 5 hours of television since then, probably more than that. So it's like, yeah, it's been a minute since we've seen fighting, you know, the thing that people show up for House of the Dragon. So yeah, I can see why it felt a little underwhelming, but I do want to talk about the things that worked. Mari, one of the biggest moments that in the whole episode, we finally see Alicent's big move. She decides, I'm going to Rhaenyra and we're gonna have another powwow. We tried it once, it didn't work. We're gonna do this again. Rhaenyra and Alicent meet. She comes to Rhaenyra's home. She sneaks out. Orwell makes sure she gets there without any type of smoke. And immediately she's coming kind of hat in hand to say, hey, look, if you want this, you got it. I don't want no parts of it. I don't. This ain't for me. I don't want to have no power. I don't want to do any of this. We could put a stop to this. Let's sneak you in to King's Landing when crazy Aemond, when he takes off with Kristen Cole. That'd be a perfect time. We'll come in. We'll just take it from the inside and say, hey, boom, it's done, and call it a day. And Rhaenyra is not receptive to seeing Alicent for of course, good reason. They haven't had the best meetings. Last time they met up, Rhaenyra completely, gives Alicent a big, I guess, amount of information that you would think would change the game. The idea that, hey, this was not about your Aegon. It was about a different Aegon. You got the prophecy wrong. You misunderstood Viserys, that kind of thing. And Alicent completely shut it down. So here we see now that Alicent is ready to play ball. Rhaenyra is also, understandably not so ready. She a little petty about this one, Mari.
What do you expect?
Understandably.
Okay. Alicent was petty with her too. It's like each one of them, when they didn't have the upper hand, they were suing for peace, and it's just like turnabout is fair play. The good stuff, right?
Yeah, the good stuff.
This was great. Like the acting down.
10 out of 10. No notes, no crumbs. I was like, Mari, the moment where they're talking and then they just crying but staring at each other but not really crying, and it's maybe 10 seconds of just uninterrupted, just just feeling that air, that moment of just the tears between the two of them. Because Rhaenyra says, you know how this is going to end. Yeah, I can't just take your word for it. Aegon gotta go. A son for a son. And in that moment, you see Alicent processing it and staring, and you kind of see the defiance of like, man, that's my baby. But at the same time, I gotta do what's right. They don't even have to say words. They just come to that agreement without even talking. And Mari, I mean, these actors, they're so good. They're so good.
Honestly, Emma Darcy and Olivia Cook. They literally just made these scenes to get these actors in the same room together. You have to. Because why do you have these powerhouses and not let them cook? Let them Olivia cook. That's clearly it. Because spoiler alert, this isn't in the book. Like, I mean, come on. Like, how many stealing aways do you need to realize, like, this doesn't make sense. But like Olivia Cook, in that moment where she like turns and she goes back to that old habit of like biting her nails and then stops herself. It was so eerie because it was like I could see little Alicent right there. You know what I'm saying? It was like, I was like, damn, this is like good. It was very good. Olivia Cook, Jesus, like I need her in more things. I need her in like all.
Yeah, send me the IMDb. I need to go and see the catch. I need to go catch up on her work because I was not familiar, Olivia. I'm sorry. I know. So the conversation is very interesting because, of course, we know that Alicent is asking for peace, but like a peaceful transfer of power. Now she's saying, "All right, you have the upper hand. You got
Yeah.
these dragons. Aemond is crazy. I've been telling y'all he was crazy, but now he done lost his mind. Listen, it's time. I want me and Helaena. We gonna hit the streets. We gonna run.
And her baby.
Yeah, and her baby. Yeah, me, Helaena,
Yeah.
and the baby that you didn't have killed. By proxy. We gonna run. You can have the throne. It's all good. And then they really talk about where their differences are, because while Alicent is coming and trying to explain to Rhaenyra her stance, I resented you for being able to do what you wanted to do, while I had to follow my duty. And Rhaenyra like, yeah, I mean, ain't it crazy? And she's like, yeah, but also I'm trying to end this without killing people, because we even see throughout this episode, although Rhaenyra knows that innocent lives have to be lost, she's not necessarily okay with it. She's presenting that, but we see her talking to Viserys at different times and other people, and it feels like if she could avoid it, she would like to not have to kill a bunch of people. So this is good news coming from Alicent, that she's willing to negotiate like this.
Yeah, but then just like how Alicent's good news, but also it's like, nah.
Yeah, at the same time,
yeah, because you're here now. Now I feel like I want to say no, even though we kind of want the same things.
Well, that and I mean, y'all did kill my son. You know what I'm saying? Like, like we cannot forget the son for the son portion. And I think Rhaenyra makes a really good point. She says, I have to kill Aegon. I do. Because there are people who still won't support me just because you helped usurp him. Right. And so he's alive. Exactly. If I don't kill him and establish dominance, then this is just going to happen again. People are just going to, a new group of people are going to say, well, she's not my king, not my queen, and then move on. And so I thought this was such a cool conversation, largely because this is a lot of what I've been saying this whole time. You know what I'm saying? Like, listen, Alicent didn't start this war. This war was going to happen. She helped. But she definitely didn't start this war. And these two women seem like they're the ones with the level head enough to make sure that this doesn't get out of hand like we know it's about to get.
Right. And that's the thing. And that is the great part of all of this, right? It's, again, these two women coming to the consensus of like, we're seeing this, we're about to unleash hell on the kingdom, and we really don't want to. But then also recognizing that they have no power in it, recognizing both their positions. The one thing I kind of didn't, it's not that I didn't like it, but I was just like, okay. It's just like everything they were saying to each other was stuff that we already understood throughout the show. You know what I'm saying? Like Alicent being like, oh, I resented you because you didn't have to follow the path and structure, and you could be wild while I had to do like, we got that. I mean, I think, they probably had to do all of this exposition for like, the people in the back. So, but you know what I'm saying? Like,
would the people in the back be loud, Mari? I'm in the Facebook groups and they still blaming Alicent for starting the war. Has she not misheard Viserys? Alicent finally said, look, that was coming regardless. That was coming regardless. Like, some of this needed to be spelled out. Viserys liked Alicent a lot, but he loved Rhaenyra's mom. That does not change. That does not change the idea that that Alicent misunderstood him and obviously wanted to protect her own child. Like, there's human moments on both sides of this thing. From the blacks to the greens. And this scene alone is kind of like why I've always been hesitant to be like, why would I be team black when Alicent? If I'm rooting for Alicent, I don't really see no issue with her stance. I've always said that, but. Now, if Alicent ain't team green no more, neither am I. I'm like, all right, well, because now the alternative is Aemond, and Aemond lost his damn mind.
He lost his mind.
Lost his damn mind, Mari. The episode basically starts with Aemond on the warpath. He has went and started to burn. Is it Sharp Point? What's it called?
Sharp Point.
Sharp Point. Yeah, Sharp Point. He went to burn it to the ground, all the innocent people and everything. And he's trying to prove a point that y'all not messing with me. He's hurt. He saw that Vhagar ain't the biggest baddest dragon in the land anymore. He got some things to worry about now, and he's taking it out on the small folk of Sharp Point.
Yeah, Sharp Point is the seat of House Massey. Gorman Massey is on Rhaenyra's council. So, but yeah, and I liked if you watch behind the scenes like I do, they say this is Aemond's MO. Like, whenever he feels small, whenever he's slighted, whenever he's insulted, he claps back with like violence and anger, and he lashes out. We've seen
Mhm.
it all throughout season
Since
1.
since he was a
Yeah.
kid, yeah.
Yeah, since he was a kid in season 1. So it's just sad that, but now that person who lashes out now has like the biggest dragon in the realm and is doing that to small folk, you know. So
Mhm.
he lost his ever loving mind. He saw them 3 extra dragons and was like, I need to figure something out. And the whole episode for him is him trying to figure out how he can get more dragons, culminating with him putting hands on Helaena.
Yeah, so he pulls up on Helaena, and I mean, Alicent's already working on Helaena. She's already hitting Helaena with the. So what if we left? What if we didn't live here no more? Well, how would you feel if mommy, decided to leave? Helena's like, I'm the queen. I can't just up and leave. And Helena's like, Alicent's like, but what if you did? What if we did leave? What if we left and just left this to whomever is left, who wants to fight for it? Because this ain't got nothing to do with us anymore. Like, we can let this go. And so Aemond approaches Helaena, and he kind of hits Alicent with like, oh, hey, mom. Anyway, Helaena, now I need you to get on your dragon because we got fighting to do. Helena objects. He does put his hands on her. He grabs her, tries to snatch her up. And it's at this point where Alicent and Helaena are both looking at him upside his head. Like, dog, have you lost your mind? Like, bruh, I understand wanting dragon riders, but also, does Helaena come off like a dragon, like someone who usually fighting on a dragon? You know what I'm saying? Like, so at that point, we had known that he's off his rocker. Eventually, he will come to her again, and he will try a softer touch. He will come in and, hey, sister, I really need you to do this dragon thing for me. Like, it would be nice. Like, if you just think about what's best for the realm, like I'm really the one to go with. Like, these people are bad. They're trying to kill us. I mean, they killed your son. They killed the baby. You know what I'm saying? And Helaena says, hey, cut it out. Cut it out. Because I seen what you did to Aegon. And initially, Aemond, he lies. He said, what? I didn't burn Aegon. What are you talking about? And she goes, no, I saw you. I seen it. I seen it with my own eyes. I saw you burn him. I seen it. And Mari, my favorite part of this is his response. He says, this is treason. And I'm thinking, she's in charge. She outranks you. What do you mean this is treason? She knows that you tried to murder the king.
Right.
So
what you did was treason.
Yeah. Exactly. What you think about Aemond and Helaena and their relationship as it stands right now?
Yeah, it's very fraught, man. It's very fraught. Poor Helaena. Like, we know, if you've been paying attention, I've been going back and forth on Helena's portrayal all season, because in the book she's an afterthought. After her son dies, she literally just sits in her room crying, sulking, grieving basically the whole time. And they've given her a much more rounded character, a much more fleshed out character, a character that you don't see necessarily in shows as much, because it's easy to do the grieving, wailing, hysterical mother. So that's why I go back and forth between like, oh man, I wish I could see her show some emotions because like a horrible thing happened to her, and then also being like, a horrible thing happened to her and she is not processing it well, but it's not showing. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I do like her portrayal, and I do like her her standing up to Aemond here. I'll talk about the rest of what she says in the book corner.
Yeah. I like Helaena. I like her depiction in the show because you're right. It would have been so easy to just write her off as this grieving mother who, she's married to a madman who, out here, raping and pillaging and all this other stuff. And she's basically a captor in her own home,
Right.
And to me, it feels like, no, Helena's almost above it. It's like it happened.
Yeah.
And there's no point in me bothering it. I've already seen what's coming. I already saw what happened. There's no point in me getting bogged down by the emotion of this thing, this emotion that should bog you down. But she's kind of written as if, yeah, that stuff happened, but guess what? It's other stuff that's coming. It's other stuff that's coming, and I can't be bothered by you bringing up old stuff, by you trying to bully me. At some point, Aemond even says, I could have you killed for this. And she's like, bruh, it's not going to change nothing. It's not gonna change nothing. So do what you're gonna do. Do what you're gonna do. You're still not gonna win this one, sir. Let it go. And so I kind of like Helaena. I'd argue that probably Helena's probably the fan favorite of the season based off what I've been seeing online.
Yeah.
Like even Team Black is like, all right, the Greens can go, but Helaena can stay. Yeah, we like Helaena.
But that's the crazy thing though, too, because Helaena is she's acting how Bran did in that last season, but doing such a much better job of it.
Way better. F Bran.
Yeah. For real. For real.
For real.
Like F that dude. So it's like exactly like I love that type of I've seen it. It's already written. Go away.
Go away. I can't be bothered. I shan't be bothered. I should not.
Yeah. Man.
Yeah. Helena's doing good work here. Of course, Aemond is not happy because this is his backup dragon rider. You know, Alicent is not a dragon rider. And so we know that Helaena will be next in line. And from what we learned in this episode, and you and I have talked about with the War Dog, Helena's got a dragon that's been around for a while. You know, Helena's dragon, he'd be formidable if able to get into the battle.
Yeah, Dreamfire, she's a she-dragon who is like, I think like one of the first like one of the first dragons born on Westeros from a clutch from the 3 original dragons. And Dreamfire herself is like the mother of like half the dragons, like I think like Cyrax and Caraxes and stuff like that. Like, you know, go back to our dragon thing, look it up. She does have a few Sunfire, I think, is her progeny. Doesn't matter. But she's been around. She's at least 100-year-old dragon. She's like 120-year-old dragon. So she's just as big. She's in that like same weight class. Maybe not even just weight class, because it's not just automatically if you're older, you're bigger. But she's been around through actual wars. You know, she's a seasoned dragon. So she's not as big as Vermithor and Vhagar, but she's seasoned. And she would be a great asset for Aemond to have if Helaena would get out there and actually ride her.
Yeah, but she ain't about to do that. She's not doing that. So cut it out. Cut it out, Aemond.
But Dreamfire is like most of her riders have kind of been like gentle riders. Like her first rider, I believe, was Princess Rhaenys, who gave her name Dreamfire because it was her dream that it's either Rhaenys or Daenys, one, you know, because all the names are just recycled.
Somebody's niece.
Yeah, like Daenys.
Somebody's niece did something.
Yeah, but she was a dragon dreamer. She foresaw the doom of Valyria and stuff like that. And so Dreamfire, normally her riders are like dreamers. They can predict the future. At least most of them have. So Dreamfire would be a really good weapon, but Helena's not down for it, and I don't blame her.
Yeah, we'll see that Aemond is losing a lot of his support from inside the castle very quickly in this episode, including his brother Aegon, who we talked about a little bit, has been burnt to a crisp. We find out in this episode that even his dick don't work. Bust like a sausage in a microwave.
I was like, I didn't need to know this.
It was actually kind of funny to know it. I was like, I didn't need to know that, but I did laugh because it was just the imagery of it. He said, "Bust like a sausage on a stick." I said, you know.
and then, what's his name?
Larys.
Larys, yeah, continued to be like, da da da. This could happen. This could happen. He said, "I can't even pee straight.
I can't pee running down my leg, dog. Why are you talking to me about conquest? I don't really care, bro. Look at me. Look at my face. I'm hideous. The man.
Oh God.
He said my junk don't work. I'm hideous. I can't walk. Leave me alone. But Larys is still playing the Game of Thrones here. He's telling Aegon, we can leave. We can leave right now. And let's say we just disappear for a while. Let this whole fight thing happen. And then come back later on. And people are going to say, hey, look at Aegon. He's not a bad option. Aemond sucks. Look at what he's doing. The Greens, we didn't really love them. But our real king is back to save the day. You could be Aegon the Peaceful. You could be Aegon the Rebuilder.
Yeah.
Aegon the Realm's Delight. Mara, you've heard that one before, right? We've already heard that name before.
So this is good. Again, like these character pieces, like I loved how most of these scenes were just two characters, like hashing it out. And so Larys here is like playing on what he knows is Aegon's weakness, button, whatever you want to call it. Like
Yeah,
he
his interest.
knows, yeah, he knows that Aegon, didn't want to be king. And then when he got into the dragon pit and he saw those people shouting for him, it's the love of the realm, the love of the small folk. We saw it when he was trying to give that man his sheep back, and Otto was
You
like,
told me
"Can't
I
stand it."
was tripping. You was like, you giving him too much. And I was like, I think he liked the small folk a little bit,
No, well, true. Okay, but anyway, I never thought it was it wasn't that he liked the small folk. He wants to be
The
loved.
admiration. Yeah,
Yeah.
he likes that
He
they look up to him.
he never got the love from his father,
Ooh,
right?
talk
He
about it.
never got the love from his mother, right?
Yeah.
So he wants that love and admiration as a king from his people. And Larys sees that. So that's why Larys is like giving him this angle. And then it's basically confirmed when Aegon says, Aegon, the realm's delight, because he's he's
He's like, yeah,
jealous
they like me. They truly like
because
me. They love me.
that was Rhaenyra's name. That was her nickname when she was a kid. The realm's delight. Everybody loved Rhaenyra. So so not only did Rhaenyra get his father's love, she got her own mother's love, and she had the love of the people as a kid. And that's everything that Aegon wanted. So this was like pure master manipulation. Yeah.
Snaps
By
for
Larys.
this.
Yeah.
Also, I love how Larys paints it when he comes in, because we've talked about this a little bit. For the book readers, they know that the book is an unreliable narrator. It's told through the eyes of like secondhand sources, passed down between maesters and da. But the show is giving us the firsthand account of what actually happened. And so when Larys comes in and tells Aegon what's been going on, he says, "Hey, word on the street is that Rhaenyra got 3 new dragon riders, and I don't know. Aemond went over there, saw on Vhagar, thought he was gonna run up on him, seeing 3 dragons, and then ran away like a little bitch, And I was like, you have to paint it like that, you have to, because that's what's gonna get Aegon's attention. He don't want to hear, Aemond courageously went over there to fight the 3 dragons. No, he ran away. Rumor, he said, word on the street is that your boy ran. And so he kind of scared. The streets are saying that he's chicken, a little yellow. And so I love this. I love that they make references to the show and the book having differences a couple times. There's a moment where Alicent and Rhaenyra are talking. We already discussed it, but Rhaenyra tells Alicent, now, history gonna say that you was like bitter and vile and power hungry. And I was like, see,
yeah.
I told y'all niggas. I told y'all. Like, I was so excited. I was like, yes, exactly. We gotta go by off what we seeing on the show, Mari.
Yeah, and history did it for both of them, though. That's the crazy thing. Like the 2 people who we're seeing who are trying to stop the war like the most in the book get painted as conniving women who just want power. You know what I'm saying? Like it happens to both of them, and it's such a very interesting take, and that's why it's like it took me a while to like adjust to that new take, because you get used to like a ruthless Rhaenyra or a desperate Alicent and stuff like that. But I love this take on it, and I love that they get the brunt of it, because again, think about it. Like I said, if this is all true, Damon was wandering around Harrenhal useless for so long, but in history, like, he raised a great host. He did such a good job when he was shitting the bed for most of it.
I was like, he got there eventually, but it definitely wasn't the story that they was telling in the books. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
I want to talk about the rest of the people that Aemond has lost, we talked about all the people that Aemond has lost on his side, but let's talk about the people that he does have. We saw Sir Criston Cole sniffing Alicent's favor.
Her panties.
Yeah, her panties.
Might as well been.
It might as well been, and right in front of her brother G Wayne. Wayne was not G Weezy, F baby. Yeah, G Wayne is not having it. He finally just has to pull Kristen Cole. Hey, say, bruh, we all know you was sleeping with the king, with the queen, and that ain't okay. You lack honor. I see you. I'm going and we gonna tell. I can get you thrown to the wall, boy. Do you understand me? Kristen Cole ain't worried. He like, hey, bro. Honestly, I done seen dragons, dog. I seen the I done seen the gods fighting, bro. I don't
Yep.
care. I
I
don't care.
don't
We
care.
about to die, and
You
honestly,
finna die.
and honestly, I wish I was dead. You know, like because being alive, I gotta stress over the dragons that I just saw kill all them folks.
Yes.
So do your worst, G Wayne. I kind of like this Kristen Cole now.
It was pretty funny. He's like, "I'm gonna sniff these panties. Leave me alone
Leave me
because
alone. This is all I got.
this is all I got right now, and I'm ashamed of this as well." So
Yeah. So good job. You got me. You know
G
what I'm
Wayne,
saying?
G Wayne literally ran up on him. He said, "Swoosh," and
Yeah.
like ran up on, and Cole was like, "And what you finna do?" Because
What you about to do?
honestly, this is all for nothing.
Mm,
It was a very interesting scene. I really did like it. You know, it did make me pause. It's just so funny because I'm like, this is the man that we've all hated for 2 seasons. You know what I'm saying? Like
mm,
this is our equivalent of like a Joffrey and a Ramsay, and even
right.
he is at the point where he's like, well, we finna die.
Right.
I didn't sign up for this, but here we go.
Yeah. Yeah. G Wayne is like, you lack honor. You slept with the queen. And he goes, yeah, okay. She wasn't even married, bro. Chill out. Like, dog, get over it. It's fine. Like, shit. Yeah, I'm not honorable, but guess what? I've met the rest of the King's Guard. They ain't either. Ain't no shining
Always
stars
fun.
amongst us. We all down bad. And I thought about it. And I remember back in Game of Thrones where we
Mhm.
did see that, oh yeah, these people at the wall that took this oath be at the brothels. The
Yeah,
King's Guard be at the brothels. The night
Jamie.
Jamie done all kinds of dirt. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, we hold Kristen Cole to this standard of he's a knight and he took his on her and all this other
Ah,
stuff.
ah, ah, ah,
But
ah.
but at the same time, he like, yeah, we all doing it, all of us, and take me out. Fine, kill me.
But but we're not doing that. That was him. He was the
Yeah,
one who touted all these virtues and shit. And
yeah,
that's what
and they all
Rhaenyra
are.
said to Alicent. Like,
She did.
this
She
was
did.
you. You
She
were the one
said, She
who
said, "Them was
brought this
your banners.
chastity.
Them was
Yes,
your banners. You was
exactly.
walking around like you was all high and mighty, holy rolling at the church house, lighting candles and stuff like that. When you wasn't doing nothing that the rest of us wasn't doing." And Allison was like, "Well,
Exactly.
I really was only trying to just show y'all that you could be holy. You know, she's like, I was trying to prove to you wrong, basically, that you could be
Mhm.
virtuous and this, that, and other. But guess what? I guess Allison was wrong, and so was Kristen Cole because he didn't give up. He said, "Look,
Yeah.
I'm here to fight, and that's it." You know, don't know what to tell you. We're marching to our own death at this point.
Yeah.
And so
It's
G
like
Wayne didn't even have a
he
response to that.
right. And it's like, you know, he's and I think it's funny that G Wayne was like, "Oh, you were a steward, son of Bastard Dorn, and you raised yourself up." Like Kristen Cole, clearly, we've been talking about it all season. He's been stumbling ass backwards into
Yep.
promotion. And this is in this moment, you can tell he's like he didn't want them. He's not prepared for them. He's like, I'm gonna just go and fight because that's what makes sense to me. I don't know
Yep.
what none of this other shit is.
Yeah. We're not supposed to have dragons fighting in the sky, burning down. Like, what does that mean for us? You know, he's saying that that's the fight that matters. We're just footnotes in this dance of the dragons. You know, if
Yeah.
we all got burnt, nobody would be talking about us. We would still be talking about the dragons. And so he's over it. He's done. But he's still going to go fight. G Wayne and Kristen Cole are still in the battle. And so they're still firmly Team Green as we look on to some other maneuvering the Greens are doing. We had a blockade to figure out, Mari. And this episode, this was the Tyland Lannister episode. How do you feel watching Tyland Lannister talking to his favorite people at the Triarchy? He loves these people. These are his favorite people in the world.
This was funny. I mean, like if you're gonna give comedic relief, then this is it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, just him bumbling through these customs was very hilarious. And the fact that Tyland Lannister is like such a central character and like I mean, this isn't spoiler. He's gonna be with us probably for a minute. Like
Mm-hmm.
it was really funny that he's over here in a faraway land mud wrestling a woman captain. And then the minute she says, like, I want to have your babies, and it's like, okay. She's like, with my wives, I want you to impregnate my wives. I was like, okay, that was kind of cool. That was kind of funny. Like,
Yeah.
it was such a levity. It brought levity to it. And I mean, like, was it filler? Yes. I would wholeheartedly call yes, I would wholeheartedly call it filler. But it was fun, you know? It was fun.
Yeah. I mean, I liked it because we know the blockade is an issue. We know the gullet is an issue. The people at King's Landing are starving. People are dying, Kim. And so Tyland has to do something. He has to make himself useful, and he goes to talk to the Triarchy, who he hates. And so he goes to them, and he's trying to bargain with them. They even talk about the step zones. Like, can you give up the step zones? Can we have something? And Tyland knows in these negotiations that this isn't going well. He's losing the battle. They end up landing on a fleet of warships sailing at his command that would break the blockade themselves. So they're going to go in and sail alongside him, but only on one condition. They have to take their captain their Lord Lohar along with him. And that's when we find out that it is a woman, Admiral Lohar. And he's stunned. You can see Tyland trying to process, like, damn, a woman's in charge, but also this lady, I don't know, for all of you, unsavory people to be following her, she got to be something. And so we find out that she's a character. I really like this character, Mark.
Yeah, it was like they were trying to bring back like Gwendolyn Christie. Like, we know everybody loved Brienne of Tarth, that the strong woman archetype who also is like very pretty and very funny. This character is gender swapped because in the books he is just a man. But this was a really fun swap here. She brought that actress brought a lot to the character, I felt like, and her playing off of Tyland was hilarious. Like, it was a good like they were both good foils for each other. So I thought this was a great idea by the showrunners to do this.
Yeah. She tells him, you look kind of skinny. And I honestly don't think you can beat me in a fight. So if you can't beat me, then I really can't even see myself riding with you like that. And so they have to go mud wrestle. And she gets the better of him for the most part, but eventually he gets frustrated enough to where he pops in the mouth a few times. But she appreciates it. I think it earns their respect because she was looking at Tyland like, what are you, a nerd? You a philosopher or something? Like, why did they send you? You ain't got, like, do you fight? Do you even lift, bro? She was on his neck. But by the end of it, I could tell she was checking him out. But I also I was like, but why? I just feel like she's not interested. But she definitely looking at him almost like she was going to sell him off to somebody, honestly. She's like, you look kind of skinny. And okay, you're not bad on the eyes. You can fight a little bit. All right, you're virile. I like that.
When she said he's virile, I was like, oh God.
She about to milk this man like a cow and try to Mari, my question. She wants him to impregnate a bunch of her wives. I don't assume that means more than 2. Yeah. We about to have a bunch of Lannister bastards running around here with under Tyland's name. Yeah, it feels like it. It really did. Yeah, but this was a strategic move from the Greens. They need the gullet to be open. They need the trade to come through because at this point, they can't trust anything anymore, doing the usual routes, because we know that the bastards were all collected via boat. And so now Aemond is shutting down that. He's like, hey, we gotta check every boat that's coming out. Like, what about the fishermen? I don't care. We can't have bastards going and getting dragons all willy-nilly. We gotta inspect everything. So they're tightening the ship up a little bit over on the Greens, and they need to, because the Blacks are making big moves as well. Mari, I'm not team Black all the way yet. Mostly. I do love me some Alicent. But if you was gonna try to get me to team Black, all y'all had to do was tell me Ulf was gonna be there. Because Ulf is the best thing that has happened to this show in so long. Ulf the White, Mari, this man. We've been missing this all season. Off just being ghetto at the table, not caring about decorum, drunk, asking for bring more of them chickens back. Yeah, like, where them birds at? Yeah, where the small birds was at? Bro, I love Off the White, Mari.
Yeah, Ulf has no manners.
None.
Feet up on the painted table, the sacred table. Just feet up.
Poor Jace. He can't even serve face the way he used to because he's so busy looking down his nose at off the white.
Over here pouting and serving face. Sir.
Man.
Sir. Looking like a model over here.
Yeah,
Like,
bad.
I'm mad at you. I'm like
Jace is down bad because he's surrounded by bastards. He's no longer the highest ranking bastard in his mind anymore. He's like, everybody got dragons now. I was highborn and I had dragons and everybody knew I was a bastard, but we didn't have to talk about it because I was the only one. Me and my brother was the only ones walking around here. Ulf don't care. Ulf was talking to Jace like they was the same, and you could tell it was eating Jace alive. Hey, yeah.
Hey, cousin.
He said, boy, your hair just as black as they said it to be. Come here, boy. Give me a hug. Jason's like, ah. He said, I'm the queen's son. He's like, yeah, me too. We cousins or something, baby. Come here. I love it so much because you could tell it's eating Jace alive to the point where we actually have to see Baela go run up on him and say, hey, chill out. What are you doing? Stop it. You're embarrassing yourself. Grow up. Hold your head up.
Women, again, saving every...
I'll give y'all that
one. Her pep talk was good.
Yeah, she told him, feeling sorry for yourself is not going to change anything. Why don't you, if you feel like you are unworthy of this due to you growing up a bastard, then why don't you prove that you're worthy? You're obviously a dragon rider, so that means something. But he felt like, his status as highborn was enough to set him apart from the Ulfs of the world.
She said, do you think you're the only noble son to not be fathered by their noble
their
father?
sire? Like, yeah, right. I was like, name names. Name names. Name names. Air them out, Baela.
Like, you are not special, sir. And again, like I said last week, he came out of Targaryen coochie. Nobody can dispute
You can't deny that. You can't deny that,
your
right?
Mama is your mama. So you out here. We know you got the blood. This isn't where your daddy, who's the daddy situation. We know you got it. So stop pouting. Stop serving face. Go get on your drink.
From Jason's standpoint, Mari, it just from his whole life, he been battling these bastard allegations. Okay, right. He heard people whispering about him. He can't even kick it with his daddy in public without people talking. Him and his brother walking around basically hand in hand because they know at any given point they might get slandered. That kind of thing. And so for him, he's like, you ain't had to go through what I had to go through. You don't know. You don't know how hard it is being a bastard. And that is a pattern that we will see in this episode as well, because we got more bastards to talk about, Mari. Eventually, Rhaenyra will have dinner with her whole her council of bastards and family members, and I thought it was very funny because she's talking to them and being like, "Hey, y'all ain't highborn, but y'all do fly dragons, so y'all cool, and welcome to the club." And the whole time I'm thinking, y'all cousins, I don't know why you acting all high and mighty. You kinfolk. The moment they got on the dragons, you couldn't deny them no more. These your people. It's just like she had Thanksgiving dinner talking about who invited y'all. It's like, nah, we can. On your mama's daddy side, we can.
She was like, knights need to learn manners. Like,
which I thought was interesting because Ulf says, oh, I ain't worried about Vhagar. Me and Silverwing gonna pull up and handle that. And they're like, all right, Ulf, you drunk, calm down. And when she tells him to find his manners, for a second, I thought he was gonna be like, or what? Because what can she really do? Y'all done handed this wild man a whole ass dragon, and now you're seeing the downside to just picking any Tom, Dick, and Harry off the street to give a war machine. Ulf basically saying like, I'm finna handle this with no training, no Valyrian. He don't know nothing.
Nothing. Not a thing.
So her plan is to wait a few days, train them up, and then send them on their way. Mari, what did you think about this scene at the dinner table?
I like this scene. I like that it showed like kind of like the stark differences between all the bastards. Like Ulf just being like Ulf. And like mad disrespectful, and Adam being brought up so close to like almost a seat of power, and knowing, like, he knows he's lowborn, but he knows directly who his, his
Mm-hmm.
father is. Him wanting to be fiercely loyal. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
he clearly is fiercely loyal to Rhaenyra. Like, bastardy aside, like, you could tell he wants to prove himself to her. And then you get Hugh, who I think is like with it. Like, Hugh was like, mind your tongue. He's like apologizing for all. If he's like, "Oh, girl, I'm so sorry.
Yeah. I wouldn't have picked him.
I had to bring
Yeah.
food,
Yeah.
like so, like, until Rhaenyra's like, we might gotta burn some small folk. Like,
Yeah.
saying this to former small folk. And that's
Mm-hmm.
when he was kind of like, oh, you could see his face kind of like soured a little bit.
Yeah.
It was
I
very
mean,
interesting.
one of the big questions in this episode is always at what cost? When
Yeah.
do you put your interests aside to save thousands of people? We know that Alicent at some point has to wrestle with, do I sacrifice Aegon to make this go away? And so at this dinner table, they're saying, okay, you want us to fight for you, and that's cool, but your first thought is to not attack the High Towers directly, not to attack Aemond directly. It's to go and cut off their resources and attack these places where they've built their forts or whatever, strongholds, and that's where the innocent people are. And to me, that's always been, again, I've said this from jump, that's always been the reason why I'm always like, I mean, I could be Team Black, but they ain't that great, because they still have to make decisions in war that cause innocent people to die that I think sometimes can be avoided. And I think those conversations are the ones that we're having here a lot more in this episode. I did want to flag up that Rhaenyra and Corlys do talk as well, a little bit, and they talk about these bastards. And Corlys is one of the people who tells her, you need to go ahead and strike quickly while the iron's hot and while you have the upper hand. When you can clearly outnumber Vhagar. Y'all can jump Vhagar at this point, and then take the upper hand and be done with this very quickly. And it sounds like Rhaenyra is kind of feeling what Corlys is talking about.
Right. She was still like kind of on the fence. She was like, I was hoping they see my 4 dragons and they'd be like, nah, let's go. Let's not do this. And Corlys is like, nah, you got to get in there. She talked to all her people. So I think that's why when Alicent does finally come, it was like Rhaenyra had just made up her mind that she
just decided.
Yeah. That she was gonna roll up. And then Alicent comes and I was like, like, I just decided.
She just convinced herself that it was okay to do this, and now there are other options out there. I like the conversation with her and Corlys. Corlys talking about how he's got to go toward the blockade too. We know it seems like the Triarchy and Corlys are about to meet head on very soon, and he has renamed his ship. It's no longer named after him, which it's always odd. You just give the ship your own name. It's like naming your dog your own name, Mari.
Snake, I mean, at least the way it was his nickname, it wasn't like Corlys. Like,
but I mean, you just had a baby. What if you named your baby Mari talks too much?
How do you know I didn't know? That's true. That is, it's weird. But I love that he renamed the boat the Queen Who Never Was. He finally realized after she's gone that he shouldn't have been running his ass around the stepstones and shit. He should have been at home where he belonged, but whatever.
Yeah, and he mentions that the High Towers and the Lannisters are marching, but there's one other player in this game that we have not accounted for, and this is the same player that Rhaenyra will get pulled away from dinner to go confront. She gets a letter from Simon. Simon said, he sends a raven. He's like, hey, we still loyal, but you might want to come to Harrenhal. And so Mira dashes off to Harrenhal, and now we finally get the conclusion to what the Damon and Harrenhal story. Mari, do you feel like it was worth it? Do you feel like 4 episodes of Damon and Harrenhal were worth this moment?
I don't know, but like Sir Alfred Broom pulls up finally.
Where you been?
Another nigga that's been gone for 3 episodes.
Nowhere to be found.
Episode 5. And he pull up with a traitor ass nigga. So like
he had a long time to think about it, Mari.
He's like, Damon, you need to be king. Did you catch I watched with the captions on. So when they stepped into the Godswoods, it whispered, it was like traitor. And he was like, what was that? And then that's
Yeah.
when Damon was like, oh, this place will mess with you.
Damon
Like,
said, don't worry about that. Listen, it happens to all of us. You just gonna have to ignore the sounds.
yeah, exactly. And then Sir Alfred said what he said, and Damon was like, oh, I didn't take you for a turn cloak. Damon should have taken his head right then and there, personally.
Well, I think Damon hadn't made his decision yet. I think that Damon, because what we've seen thus far is that Damon has still been correcting everybody. King, don't print. There ain't no prince, ain't no king, regent, king. I'm the king. King. You ain't got to say the whole thing. Nope, don't say consort. It's king. It's king. You know. And so I think prior to this episode, I don't know if Damon had made up his mind about whether or not he was going to support Rhaenyra's claim to the throne anymore. But we get the conclusion. Alice Rivers is still here.
Yeah.
Still annoying the hell out of me. And she made herself useful. Yeah. She took him to touch on the tree. And if you've seen Game of Thrones, you know exactly what's about to happen. Because when people start messing with the godswood and the trees and the people in the forest and all that kind of stuff, you know some brand activities about to happen. Mari, we saw the three-eyed raven in this episode.
Yeah, we saw the original three-eyed raven, blood raven, a bastard Targaryen. I mean, that was pretty cool, even though it's for stuff like we saw. So we saw the Night King roll up. We saw Dany and her dragons. Like, oh, look at that. We saw the Red Comet. Basically saw the destruction of the kingdom. You know, like that's the original prophecy of, like, if we can't get this kingdom united, then these people gonna walk all over us. These White Walkers. It was really cool. It was cool. The fact that, though, like, I mean, I guess that it was just like, she's like, Alice Rivers was like, you weren't ready when you first came, so now you get to see it. And then Damon touches it. He now understands the prophecy because he was never told it, and now he's here to bend the knee to Rhaenyra, unite the kingdom, and fight against it because he saw it. Was this all worth it? Meh.
I didn't hate it. I didn't hate it. Yeah, I didn't hate it. What does annoy me is that whenever we talk about this prophecy and stuff like that, it seems like the buck always stops at Daenerys. It's like we see Daenerys and then they're like, oh, okay, starting to make sense. Like, so we just gonna ignore Jon Snow? You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, like Daenerys is only a part of this whole project. There's one more layer to this whole unite the realm type situation, beat the Night King, all that stuff that ultimately didn't really even matter in Game of Thrones. But it frustrates me a little bit when they do stuff like that. But I appreciated it because we've had 4 episodes of Damon really struggling with, why wouldn't Viserys want me to be next in line? Why was I getting passed up for something that I was so clearly right for? Why do people want me to support Rhaenyra when I would be better than her at this job? He's been doing that episode after episode and really having to face a lot of his demons. And I think now he sees the bigger picture and he understands the bigger picture. And he's able to say, all right, all that other stuff is trivial. He's kind of in the same space as Kristen Cole right now. Like, hey, bro, it's bigger than me. It's above me now. I just got to do my part. And my part is to be a part of the bigger picture, which is Rhaenyra needs to be on the throne, because if that doesn't happen, we don't get whatever this vision was I just saw, and we don't save anybody from Winter, because Winter is coming. He said he sounds just like Viserys in that moment when he talks to Rhaenyra about it.
Exactly. So it was like, now that I know where the season ended and how it ended, I completely understand why they had to make him waste time in Harrenhal. So
yeah, even though history will just tell this part, just the part where he has a huge army and Rhaenyra showed up and she's so grateful to him because he still loves her and is willing to bend the knee. It's like, all right, yeah, he got there eventually.
I want them to kind of kiss though here too a little bit.
They don't even like each other. That's the thing. That's the thing. People who read the book been hollering all season, he loves his family. And we have not seen him mention his family. He ain't mentioned his daughters. Huh?
Yes, he did. I said at me. Yes,
When he
he
mentioned
did.
him, did he ask
All
her?
he did was the only thing he hallucinated while he was there was his damn family.
He
Rhaenyra,
hallucinated his family
Aemond,
charging him
Viserys.
up about it, about not caring about his family. His wife said, "Have you asked about our kids?"
Damn. Mm-hmm.
That man was like, "No."
Mm-hmm.
He hallucinated about his mama a little bit too, Mari. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. People been telling me Damon loved his family for a long time. I've yet to see that same type of outward expression. It feels like
He
he's doing.
loved his mama.
He did love his mama. He, woo, yeah. And I don't want to talk about that anymore. So Rhaenyra does charge him up and get him to bend the knee. Um, you know, for I knew where it was going when it happened, but I think it was very satisfying. I think it was for Rhaenyra to know that she has him in the corner, because this is changing to me from like a civil war between the family that it is, to becoming, how can we get everybody on board with the ultimate goal, which is we got to make sure that the Song of Ice and Fire does not end in tragedy. You know what I'm saying? That we don't end in a world where the Night King and the White Walkers take over and all this other stuff. So I like that Damon has now shifted, but I also kind of think the character might be a little bit more boring now that he's doesn't have the moral gray area anymore. What do you think they're gonna do with Damon moving forward?
I mean, he's still gonna be Damon though. Like
Yeah, I hope so.
The moral gray area is not gone. It's just like now he's gonna be truly fully working for Rhaenyra. That's all. He's still gonna do some heinous shit. Don't worry.
Yeah, don't worry. He said, hold that thought. He'll be back. One other person we haven't talked about. One scene we haven't talked about. Corlys goes and talks to the final bastard, the remaining bastard in the show that we have yet to address, Alan of Hull. And Corlys goes to Alan like, hey, I know you're about to take off and go on your voyage and your new role. Just want to let you know, like from a dad standpoint, I've been talking to your crew. You don't really inspire like leadership. You're not giving that kind of vibe to them. They don't really know if you're likable or not. We don't really, it's really hard to get people to follow you. He's trying to give him some helpful tips and tools, some fatherly advice, and rightfully so. Alan shuts it down. I love this moment so much. That man was acting, Mari, because you could tell he was sick of Corlys' shit. Like, bro, you want me to be grateful that you are telling me this kind of stuff right now, sir? Where have you been?
Dog.
Yeah. Where have you been?
Like, crumbs. Like, don't you come here try to help me because you don't got nobody no more? This is
Mari, he said your other son dead, your other daughter dead, your wife dead, and now you come crawling back to me?
He didn't have to do all that. Like,
he did have to. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Yeah, he did. The man told me, I've been watching you raise these rich kids your whole life. Well, I've been out here starving. We've been out here struggling.
Do you know what hunger feel like?
Yeah,
I'm broke.
I'm broke, nigga. Dog, he said, bro, look around, dog. We broke. We ain't got it like that, dog. I'm done. I might edit that out. Mari, what is Corlys trying to make up for lost time here?
Yeah, he is. Like, I mean, again, and Rhaenys herself like said, raise him up. That was her last like words to him, really. Corlys has nobody. Corlys has worried. It's weird because Corlys has worried about his legacy for the longest. Like, he didn't, like, he worried about his legacy more in season 1 when he had
a legacy
like heirs, and it was like season 2 it was always Rhaenys like, what about the heirs, what about the the legacy, it was her who was like harping on it, and he was like, nah, we good. She's like, we going to war. He's like, we good. Like,
we got it.
Yeah, so it's like, even though anyways, he's just finally thinking of that. He's finally thinking of his legacies. Like he said in season 1, it's not the blood that the history books talk about, it's the names. It's the names that are important. So you know, this is the last of his family, and I think he just wants to see them do well now. And it's just, Alan is not having it, and rightfully so. He's like, it's been years. Like
Yeah.
I don't even know if you can call him a deadbeat, like he's been dipping in and out, because I don't even think that's really true. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like,
yeah. And it's gotta be tough, right? To watch somebody else live the life that you know you should be living, or see somebody else give the things that's supposed to go to you to somebody else. And it's not like poor Alan. It's not like Alan didn't know this was his daddy. First of all, they look just like, and then two, before Alan was bald, I'm sure them was nice blonde hairs growing out of his black ass head. You know what I'm saying? So he been shaving his head.
We talked about that last week.
Yeah, I mean, he shaved his head in that one episode.
Yeah, last week. Mm-hmm.
But you have to imagine when he was a kid, he wasn't shaving his head. Maybe his, you know what I'm saying? Like he didn't evolve into a Valerian or whatever. Like he been having them gray, them silver hairs coming out of his head. This man been knowing he was from nobility and hasn't been able to do nothing about it. So nah, give me more of this. I need more of this. Alan was acting, man. Give him his credit.
He said, I don't need your help. I was like, dang.
And then he told him, and when it's over, I quit. I'm going back to being I don't want to work for you no more, Dad.
It's good.
Such a good episode. The last person I'll talk about, and I will talk about it briefly before we talk about our last scene. Let's just jump right to the last scene. The last scene of the episode, everybody is marching off to battle. We see the Lannisters coming from the Riverlands, the Hightowers from the Reach, the Starks are coming from the north, the Triarchy sailing, the Sea Snakes are going to meet them at sea. Damon has his army in the Riverlands. Rhaenyra has been just stumbling throughout this whole episode. I put in my notes, if they show Rhaenyra one more time laying on the ground crying and drinking water out the pond and stuff, but she found it. She found her dragon, Mari. Were you happy that we finally got a conclusion to Rhaenyra out here in the Vale?
I mean, yes. I mean, it was like I knew what was gonna happen, so it was kind of like it was cute or whatever. No, I love this in a sense of like it shows you how desperate Rhaenyra is. We've always heard like Rhaenyra, we've seen it like since season 1, like Rhaenyra's like always felt some type of way that she doesn't command a dragon. You know what I'm saying? She always feels that type of way. And so her running through the Vale, like drinking mountain water, sleeping out by rocks, it's cold. She looked disheveled, and she run up on Sheep Stealer. And it was so funny because she runs up on Sheep Stealer, and I'm like, dang, Sheep Stealer looks scraggly. And James thought, I said, why does she look scraggly? She's like, she be running outside. I'm like, not her. Yeah.
They both looked raggedy by the time they saw each other.
Exactly. So that was a cute moment. I liked it. I did.
It took a long time for them to get there. I really was tired of the little cutaways to Rhaenyra out here and just struggling, because we just give her the dragon, y'all. But she has Sheep Stealer, and so that would be another dragon on the side of Team Black if she is able to command Sheep Stealer and join the war alongside all the people that we already talked about. We do see a small clip of Otto Hightower is in a cell. Mari, who threw Otto in jail?
I don't know. Like, I'm genuinely confused.
I said Otto. Oh, Otto? I was so excited to see him. I don't know anymore.
You go to the function. Well, where's Otto at? Oh, he's
still locked up.
Like we don't again.
I've been waiting on Otto to come back all season. You mean to tell me we haven't seen this man since what, episode 2?
Yeah. Was it 2? Oh my God, was it 2? Yeah,
it's been forever. Forever, Mari.
Yeah.
We don't know where Otto has been. We don't know why he's locked up. But I think it's safe to say that he will be back in season 3 now that we know that he's alive.
Yeah, he's alive. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, I got nothing on the Otto front.
Larys?
So weird.
Could have been Larys locked him up.
Well, Larys, we see Larys and Aegon are taking off into the forest, but it didn't. Yeah. I couldn't tell if those scenes were connected. If Aegon and Larys and then also the Otto clip are related because, of course, I don't know how Otto would feel about his grandchild running away and hiding. You know what I'm saying? So if they're going to go meet up with Otto at any point, that would probably be bad for Larys, I think. Because Otto would obviously want to advise Aegon and be his number one trusted source of information and counsel. He's not just going to let Larys run his legacy. You know what I'm saying? So he's going to say something or do something eventually. And so I don't know where the hell Otto is, but you're right. Maybe Larys got him locked up so he didn't come back and become the new hand. I don't know.
Right. That was the only thing I could really think of. Yeah, that was nuts, bananas. But this is like, so this kind of scene here, this last scene where you just seen everybody suiting up, it was in the scenes for the next episode. So last week. So last week after the episode went off and the scenes for the next episode, I DM War Dog, I DM Grace. I was like, what the fuck gonna be happening in this finale? Because this don't make sense.
Yeah.
And sure enough.
They got a lot of build up.
Yeah, exactly. It's like they did that specifically so that they could put it in the trailer just so it could be a cliffhanger, which is
it's dirty business, nasty business. One other thing I wanted to flag up from seeing, these little clips in these last moment of everybody suiting up and getting ready to go to war is that we do see another dragon. We see another dragon flying off to war, and I'm assuming because we've talked about him so much. Daeron, is this Daeron right on this? Why? Well, how come Daeron's name been mentioned about 8 times this season? We have not even met the actor who plays Daeron yet, but I'm pretty sure
they've even casted him. Let me see.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we saw his dragon flying off at some point in that last little clip as well. So
that's what I'm
soon
saying.
To come.
Like when I tell you, Chappell, I know me and War Dog talked about it, but they had 3 battles that they could have picked from. Apparently, not even 3. 4 technically, because the Battle of the Red Fork, like that is. So we talked all season about. I was like, they are doing a good job of setting stuff up. Like you said, they talked about Daeron's ass. We had Ulf and them scattered. We had Jason over gearing up for the Battle of the Red Fork. Like they set so much stuff up just to leave it for next season. So it's like, what is the point? Because by the time next season comes, newsflash, people are not going to remember this stuff.
No, I'm definitely not going to remember this stuff 2 years from now when this whole thing drops, Mari. Do you think they did a good enough job of people wanting more? Are people going to watch this finale and say, I'll be back in 2 years? Or are some people going to say 2 years from now, I just don't care, Mari? What do you think?
I mean, we're going to do what we always do at Game of Thrones. Just
like complain, she'll show up.
Yeah, exactly. We're
same old shit. Same old.
Yeah. We're going to be pissed that it was a cliffhanger. We're going to forget about it in a few months, and we'll be right back at it in 2 years. But, we still going to be mad for a little bit. But
I'm going to complain.
We're going to be here.
Yeah, I'm be there. Look, what he say? I'm going to talk. But when he leave, I'm gonna keep talking. I'll be quiet when he leave. I'm gonna keep talking, Mari.
But yeah.
2 years from now, 2026 is when we're getting the next iteration of this. And you've read the books. Tell me, how many seasons? How many 2-year periods are we gonna have to do this for? Are we gonna be doing this for the next 8 years?
I mean, so they originally said in season 1, it was getting 4 seasons. How they ended this season, they can reasonably get 5. And again, that's depending on where they end this, because again, it's an ongoing history even after the dance ends, after the war ends, because you still have, just like most wars, like reconstruction and stuff like that. So like they truly could probably squeeze 5 out. Like if they squeeze this one, especially if it's 8 episodes going forward and not the 10, they could squeeze 5. But so far they're just good for 4.
I can't. I don't. My attention span too short, Mari. I don't know if I can
I
do this
know,
for
2
10
years.
years.
That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying,
like
like, again, like
again, really. So that's it. That's season 2, episode 8, the finale of Hot D, House of the Dragon, season 2. Mari, that was great. We had so much fun talking about it. For all our listeners, thank y'all for keeping up, for tapping in, for giving us so much feedback. Is there anything else you want to add about this episode before we get to the book club?
Nope, I think I'm good. Yeah, nothing else. Yeah, you can get into the book.
All right. So if you do not want to hear spoilery stuff from the book about, kind of where we are in the same area of the book in the same timeline, then feel free to tap out now. You can catch us next week on Recap Kickback, bringing you more content. Right now, we got a lot of Olympics coverage. We talked about gymnastics. We talked about track and field. And we'll probably do a little follow-up at the end of the Olympics to wrap all of those conversations up. So make sure you subscribe to Recap Kickback, recapkickback.com/subscribe. Make sure you go to our YouTube page, youtube.com/@recapkickback. Hit like, hit subscribe, hit like on this video right here, and let people know that you're having a great time at the Kickback. Everybody's invited. Y'all know how that goes. You can also catch Mari, like she said, on Crime Scene, talking about true crime. You can catch me talking about Netflix shows on the Nothing But Netflix podcast, and talking about Below Deck every Wednesday on YouTube, live on RHAP. You can go to youtube.com/RHAP to catch that. And then, of course, you can catch all the other Recap Kickback content by making sure that you are subscribed and you're following all Recap Kickback on all social media platforms at Recap Kickback. So that being said, it's time for one last time, Maester Mari's book club. Maester Mari, take it away. What do we have in this episode that you want to talk about in comparison to the books?
First off, I just want to say I just went back and looked at Game of Thrones like release date. Game of Thrones did not take 2 years every season. Like it was just the last few seasons that was like one longer wait. Them first initial ones, the first 4 or 5, it was every year. Like anyway.
Playing in our faces. Our faces.
For real, in front of my salad. So, book club. Few things. The reason why I said the Tyland Lannister stuff was filler is because it's completely made up.
Oh no.
Yeah. In the book, Otto Hightower is the one who gets the triarchy on side, and all he does is write a letter. He just writes
Free my dog. Free my dog. See, this is what I'm talking about. Y'all done locked up Otto so Tyland can go out here and sing for these triarchy people.
That song was hilarious too. Like I was like, oh no. Yeah. So like it was during that time where Aegon's like, why are you writing letters? I want, that's when Tyland wrote to the triarchy, got them to agree to break the blockade. So that's like this Tyland stuff is fun, but it was like really packed. I was like, another segment. Okay. All right. This isn't looking good. You know what I'm saying? Like I started to realize, I was like, we're not going to get any, like, I thought, okay, maybe we'll get one battle. No, they said no battles for you. Like, you were right about the episode was very good, but for a finale, it just leaves you wanting a lot more.
We should have had one battle after this. You know what I'm saying? Like, show me like a cliffhanger in a battle or something like that, to where I got the magnitude of all the politicking that we saw. Right, we saw the Avengers come together, each side assembling their teams, and then had them start a fight at least, or something like that. Yeah. But to leave us like, all right, I guess they're gonna fight 2 years from now, bruh. So you said there were 4 battles that would have happened by this time in the book that we really didn't talk about much throughout this season. I know one was the Burning Mill. They glossed over it very quickly, where that could have probably been its own battle. What were the other ones that you were talking about?
Well, yeah, I wasn't even counting Burning Mill, honestly.
Because they actually kind of showed it, but
yeah. So it's at this time period, you have the Battle of the Red Fork, which War Dog so graciously reminded me of, because like I was saying, it's a lot of small skirmishes. So that's why I
Mm-hmm.
thought maybe going into this episode, maybe they'll like put 2 small skirmishes in one episode. No, we got no skirmishes. The
Yeah.
Battle of the Red Fork, where something major does happen, but it is a very forgetful battle. We also have the Battle of the Gullet, which is actually a very big battle. Um,
Which is
yeah,
coming, it
which
seems.
is coming, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's where they're trying to break the blockade.
Mm-hmm.
There's the Battle of the Honey Wine, which is where Daeron and Tessarion make their debut on the side of the High Tower host. And then the fourth battle, I am not going to tell you the name of it because it gives a lot away. So, and that battle is what I, going into this season, thought we were going to end on.
Mm-hmm.
But we did not get it. And so,
But we did not.
yeah.
Well, they're trying to leave a lot of this stuff, obviously, for either, well, just they've glossed past a lot of it, but also leaving some for the future. All right, 2 years from now, with the viewership that they have, we talk about the CGI a lot in the show and how much it costs to put dragons on the screen, but we got to have at least 2 or 3 dragon fights next season. That doesn't make any sense for us to wait 2 years and we not gonna have at least 2. I mean, we got 1 dragon fight in this whole season. We saw dragons burning some stuff. Don't get me wrong, there were dragons, but we got 1 fight. You mean to tell me we're gonna wait 2 years to see 1 more dragon fight? I feel like there needs to be more. There's like 6 dragons in play.
Yeah. There's like at least like 3 big dragon fights like coming up. Now, how many they're gonna put in season 2? Like if we're talking like dragon on dragon crime here, yeah, there's at least 3. So we might get 2 of them, maybe. Like it's hard. Like the timeline is very hard. There's a few skirmishes where there's 1 dragon present, but not another one.
Yeah.
But you're right. Like it's like we need more dragons. Well, I want more dragons. You said you didn't.
It's not why I come here, but I definitely would like some dragon. You know what I'm saying? Come here, House of the Dragon, and then it's just Succession. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, what are we
They
getting?
snuck in this like sheep stealer in here. Like we saw some smoke and Craxes and Cyrex. I mean, it is crumbs, but it's better than Thrones. Like
it's true. It's true. We waited several years for Dragons on Thrones. We had the little babies, we had little eggs, it was a long time before we saw Dracarys,
Exactly. So
Mari,
I guess be grateful.
We got our email from Tia.
Yes,
I wanted to read that to you as well before we get off the topic of dragons too much. Tia said this might be spoilery. So again, if y'all are opposed to that kind of thing, fast forward to maybe like 10 seconds or so. But she wanted to know, does Aegon get another dragon if Sunfire is dead? She thought Rhaenyra had mentioned that one of the dragons that were in the fight with Meleys when she fought both Sunfire and Vhagar was no longer alive. And she thinks that she was talking to maybe like to Jace in her little office. Don't quote me on that. But she says, I'm asking because she heard a YouTube video, or actually a Game of Thrones, that referenced that Aegon maybe uses his dragon later on, I will say. So do you think the show will allow this to happen, or will they continue to to kind of gloss over the whole Sunfire thing? Because I think Aegon mentioned Sunfire as being dead in this episode, didn't he?
He did. And
he said it definitively.
He did. And I was a little surprised by that. I was thinking, I'm still holding out hope that Sunfire isn't dead. Because he not even holding out hope. I don't think, I just think Aegon thinks he's dead because like it was the last thing that happened. I can tell you now, we're in the spoiler corner, and this part kind of already passed. So Sunfire stays on the battlefield, and I think we talked about this with War Dog. He eats all the dead bodies around him, and he eventually gets strong enough that he does, even though his wing was like broken and like half hanging off, he does end up being able to fly aloft again. Yeah, he does. And so you know how we see Larys escape with Aegon?
Mhm.
Um, in the book, Aegon and Sunfire actually escape
Yeah.
King's Landing. Mhm.
Interesting, because I
Yeah,
mean, if Sunfire ain't dead, where's Sunfire? You know, it'd be hard to
yeah.
miss a dragon just laying out in the field somewhere. You know, I'm sure
So
other people would see it.
in the book, like in Sir Kristen Cole said it in that 5th episode after the big battle, he left a garrison to protect Sunfire. So there's a whole bunch of army, some knights that are supposed to be there to make sure nobody messes with Sunfire while he regains his strength. And the
Mhm.
reason that we know Sunfire is gone, because when Rhaenyra's armies do start to march, some of her retinue breaks off to go and try and finish off Sunfire, and they
Mhm.
go to where he was last seen, and he's not there anymore. So that's how we
Gotcha.
know that Sunfire eventually ends up flying again. Because in the book it's a mystery. In the book it's a mystery. In the book it's like Sunfire is gone. In the
Mhm.
book it's like, wait, Aegon's gone. Where'd they go?
Right.
So yeah, and so you assume they're together. So to answer Tia's question, I really hope I keep saying I hope they're like technically Sunfire cannot be dead. Like
Sunfire
he
can't be
can't be
dead,
dead.
y'all.
He
He
can't be
can't.
dead.
He just got to be alive. He got to
He
be.
got to be alive.
Look,
So
we'll take that for what you say. You know, like we don't want
yeah,
to get too spoilery.
exactly.
Um, but thank you, Tia, for that feedback. Again, if you want to leave feedback or ask any questions, I mean, it's the off season, but Mari and I will still be back every week for our
Yeah,
recap kickback. And so if you have any questions about Hot D, maybe we'll do a Q&A or something like that. If we get enough
that'd be
questions,
fun.
you can send your questions to recapkickback at gmail.com. Recapkickback@gmail.com for any direct emails or questions that you have about the series. You can also message us on Instagram at Recap Kickback, or on Twitter at Recap Kickback. DM us and let us know that you have a question and you want us to bring it up on the podcast. And like I said, if we get enough, then maybe we'll do a whole little Q&A portion for this kind of thing.
For the
Amari,
season.
yeah, is there anything else from the episode that stood out?
Yeah, a few more things. Real quick, Rhaena, we said it with War Dog, I'm pretty sure. Rhaena is not the original writer of Sheep Stealer in the book. It's a
Mm-hmm.
character called Nettles, who they apparently are skipping. Which sucks because Nettles is technically in the book. She is the only like black character in the book. Technically, she's actually written as a black character, and she claims sheep stealer by bringing him a sheep every day for like a few days. Like they think um they think Nettles doesn't even have Targaryen blood at all, like no Valerian blood at
Oh,
all. She just good at like the bringing the sheep helps her
mm-hmm.
get the dragon. Yeah. So
Really?
yeah, that I mean that's what the book is hints at, because they're like
That's
Nettles is a little brown girl whose skin was dark, hair was dark, everything
mm,
was dark, but she managed to get Sheep Stealer on side by giving him a freshly slaughtered sheep every day.
right. I think that's fun about the books too, because we know like the books aren't completely accurate as far as like how
Yeah.
the events actually happen. I think it's more plausible that she probably is just a Targaryen descent and they just don't know it. You know what I'm saying? Like they
Mhm.
can't figure out how. Because I mean, think about it. Everything we've been told about the dragons is there. You have to have this blood. The dragon has to choose you. And now all of a sudden it's like, or you can feed it. You know, it's like, nah, I don't like that. I don't like
So,
that.
but that's the thing. It's like, what do you choose? It's like, do you choose that? Oh, maybe she does have some Targaryen blood and stuff, or do you choose like maybe the Targaryens in this they made this up to be self-important and to
yeah, not that
give
special.
themselves claim, yeah, which was what Jace struggled with all episode. So they're
Mm-hmm.
fusing Rhaena's story with Nettles, which I mean,
Okay.
it's okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that they're incorporating like Rhaena and Bela more and Jace, because at this point they're like all 14 in the books and stuff. So I like this. I like seeing like again Rhaena's grit and determination to find Sheep Stealer and stuff like that.
Yes.
And then finally Helaena. Um you're here, so that means you like spoilers.
Yeah, you hear? So that means you like spoilers. Again, this is another warning. It's spoilery. Let's go, Mari.
Yeah. Helena did her predictions. She said, if I and I I quote because that means I would have to get it word for word. But she basically says, Aegon will be king again. He will sit on a wooden throne. You will drown in the God's eye, never to be found again.
You will be dead and swallowed up in God's eye and never be seen again. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Helaena just told y'all the whole rest of the show.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. That's the game. That's the bit. But
I was like, damn, Helaena.
I knew that was coming. That's why I have the quote in my notes. Because I was like, damn, Helaena. She said, listen, you're going to lose this. I mean, Alice Rivers did tell Damon he was going to die at Harrenhal too. So, I mean, I guess these people who can see just really be snitching. But yeah, Helaena told him, I ain't worried about you because listen, I'm telling you right now how this is going to end for you. These seers, Mari, they're pretty fun to have in the show, especially when they're better than Bran. Bran wasn't helping at all.
He wasn't. He was just letting shit happen. Like,
nope.
And then be like, I seen it. I seen that happen.
Yeah, like, oh, sure, Bran. Sure.
Could you share with the class?
Right, of course you did, Bran.
Yeah.
So swallowed up in the God's eye, never seen again. And I don't know what that means.
Yeah, so but I won't translate that part for you guys.
Mm-hmm.
But
we know we know Aemon's dying. We know he's on the way out. I mean, I've always looked at this story anyway, Mari, is that all these, I mean, by the time we get to Game of Thrones, they all be dead. And so it's not like I was looking for like one team to be triumphant and the other team to just be massacred. I'm feeling like there's going to be losses on both sides,
Yeah. I mean, it is a Dance with the Dragons. It is a war fought on Dragonbat with armies. Like this, in the book, they say people call it the Dance of the Dragons because it's the Targaryen Civil War, but more people call it the Dying of the Dragons because by the time Thrones comes, no dragons exist. Nada. So that should tell you everything you need to know about how this is going to end in 2 or 3 more seasons.
Yeah. Mari, we got some other good feedback on Instagram, on our Instagram page. We got a message from Renee Murray, who was talking about some of the other podcasts and stuff, but also saying that she really enjoying the podcast with Mari, and it's so refreshing to listen to you guys speak. As a Black woman, I enjoy hearing y'all break down the House of the Dragon. So yeah, thanks Renee for being a fan of the podcast, for supporting, for sending feedback. Remember, our Instagram page is still taking DMs as well. Let us know if you have any questions or concerns or anything you want us to talk about on the podcast, because it's been a great time talking about it with Mari. Now, one thing we haven't really discussed is that although House of Dragon will be back in 2 years, we do have that spinoff coming in a year. And so Mari, if you are down, you know where I'll be. You know where we'll be here on House of the Dragon, talking about a recap kickback on the Westeros Kickback. You know what I'm saying?
Pencil it in. Did you see at the beginning of the episode they showed a little trailer for it?
No, I'd be skipping all that stuff. I'll be missing the after show stuff. Yeah, I'd be missing the after show, the intro, all that stuff, the director's commentary. I'd be missing all that stuff, Mari.
Max was like, we know this is the finale, so let us show you exactly everything that's coming in the next year. So so they showed a lot of stuff. The Last of Us coming back and stuff like that. But
season 2.
They showed A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. They showed footage of it. I'm like, just start. Yeah, I'm like, I thought they just started filming. So they
had to show us something, Mari.
They had to
because they knew what they was about to do.
Yeah. Oh God. So we gonna be here. I think you're gonna love it. I think you're gonna love this story. So
cool. Let's do it. So that wraps up our book club, and that wraps up our coverage of House of the Dragon season 2 here on Recap Kickback, the HOTD, the Westeros Kickback. Mari, this has been so much fun. Thank you so much for being here every week right after the show to talk about the show. Thank you all for leaving comments, for liking, sharing, for letting people know to come listen to us talk about this show. Thank you all for subscribing and joining the Facebook group and all that other cool stuff, because Mari and I got a lot more content coming your way. I got a lot more Recap Kickback content coming your way. And we're going to try to keep everybody fed. Like I said, Larys coming soon. Puya and I will be talking about that. And then Mario and I got to brainstorm what we're going to be doing every week now that House of the Dragon is going. Y'all, I caught up on interview with the vampire. I think at some point I probably want to talk about that, especially because I got a good old vampire expert here with Mari. Y'all don't know we fed here. We got it good with Mari. So when she get caught up, maybe we'll talk about that and other stuff as well.
Because it's coming to Netflix, right? In the interview with the vampire?
It is. It's coming to Netflix soon. Yeah.
That's gonna be easy.
But again, I'm caught up and I'm ready for season 3. And so you need to go ahead and get caught up too.
Season 3. Oh God.
Yeah, you gotta get ready. I think they announced season 3 right around Comic-Con this time, and so it should be probably early next year, January, I believe, or something like that.
So season 2 is done. Okay,
season 2 is done. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. You got time. You got time. Get into it.
Well, I can binge season 1, season 2, and then we'll meet back.
Yeah. Maybe we talk about it. Who knows? And so, Mari, anything else? Tell people where they can follow you in the meantime.
Of course, again, you can find me on Twitter at Mari Talks Too Much. That's 2, like the number 2. Follow me over there. It's fun. We cracking. We in the Facebook group too. Recap Kickback.
Yeah. And then follow us on Twitter at Recap Kickback to keep up with all the rest of the stuff we have going on. Until next time, you ain't got to go home, but there will be no House of the Dragon. So why are you staying here? Come back next week for more Recap Kickback stuff. That's why. We'll talk to y'all later. Peace.